Alright, let's see if this works. This is a test video for my new YouTube channel. Let's just check out, make sure that I know what the hell I'm doing. There's dust everywhere, so that looks bad. So I'm going to play with the camera a little bit here. Draw my finger. Let's see, that's my focus. I don't really know what that button does, but we're going to leave it alone. Might as well just start with this since this is part of it. This is one of my favorite Transformer toys of all time. It's Generation Sunstreaker. The reason I'm using it as a test video is it was standing literally right here. So let's go ahead and just take a look at it real fast. I'm not going to do anything really big. Again, this is just a test video. But let's go ahead and get a nice view here. This is my favorite head sculpt for Sunstreaker. I have a couple of Sunstreaker toys, including Generation 1 and alternators. And I just love this head sculpt. It just looks fierce. I love the little bat ears. Makes him look more like a warrior versus the cartoonish other versions of him. The chest, of course, gives him a nice buff look, almost like he's bodybuilder and like a wife beater or something. And generally, it's just a fantastic little toy. Again, I really don't know what I'm doing, so this is just a test for me to play with the camera and make sure the sound's working. So what I'm going to be doing is I have a huge Transformers collection and a lot of Deadpool toys and the like. I love mystery boxes, so when I see one, if I have the extra $5-6, I'll grab one. And I just love getting little mystery things, and that's what this channel is mostly going to be. It's just stupid little shit where I'm just going to post quick little videos showing them. I'm not going to be like the other toy reviewers out there. I'm not going to show you the individual transformation schemes. I'm just going to be showing you basically the toy, highlight it, maybe pose it, show it in for example, with the Transformers, show in the robot mode and then the vehicle mode, and do comparisons in size and scale. So again, I'm going to try to be a little bit different. I am a little bit different, as I'm not exactly a social person, so I'm going to try, bear with me. I'm going to learn how to talk, learn how to speak along with you guys. And I want to hear comments, questions, and stuff like that. And you'll also notice down on my links page, I do have a link to my eBay. I very rarely post anything on my eBay, but always check it out if you're looking for something. So let's go ahead and start this up a little bit here. So this again is the Generations Sunstreaker from a few years back. And it's just a gorgeous toy. It's well built, well designed. There are, the usual flaws. For example, his legs are really weird and hollow. I don't know if you can see that. Let me try turning him a little bit here. But that's because of the transformation scheme. He's missing a couple things that I wish he had. Now, of course, you can tell I don't have the gun on him. That's in storage. I do live in Florida, so most of my stuff is in storage during hurricane season. He doesn't have the cool shoulder missiles that the original toy had, and that's kind of a letdown for the toy, but otherwise, this has been one of my favorites, to the point that when I sold a bunch of my collection a few years ago, this one was not being touched. I did sell, my Jetfires and my Hounds and stuff like that, but this toy just was badass. I use it a lot as a display and a reference when I'm talking to friends about posability, functionality, and design. As you can tell, it's about 10 years old now, so the paint's starting to chip in a few spaces, like where my thumb is here. I don't know if you can see. That's mostly because of the transformation scheme and being in storage for so long. The paint's a little bit thin on the top, of course. But what I love, and again, the ears there, some of the paint never really got in there quite well. But one of the things I love about this action figure and its design is just how well it works. It just screams modernized figure, and it makes him seem like a warrior. I've seen some of the other Sunstreakers have come out mostly in the masterpieces and the KO masterpieces. I haven't picked any up because it looks too cartoony, whereas this one looks like it came right out of a comic page, and you can see like a functionality to it. Like you can almost like picture the outside the car parts being an exoskeleton. You can see the inner skeleton inside. Reminds me a lot of EJ Sue, I believe his name was, on the Escalation series, where he actually tried to draw them as if they were wearing armor and clothing. And it's something I like. One of the things about Transformers that I love, and the really good figures try to hide as much as the alt modes as possible and try to make the figures almost seem like they're organic in a way. And that's one of the things that I've been enjoying now. The best series for that, of course, was animated, where there were some figures where you just lose the alt modes altogether. And then, you know, this one, that's a beautiful hybrid of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video, and we're going to go ahead and get him into alt mode so we can talk about the alt mode a little bit. And then, you know what? Before we even do that, let me grab Generation 1 Sunstreaker. Now, his parts are, like I said, in storage. And I have a lot of Generation 1 toys. I have about 200 of them. Generation 1 and Generation 2 with a few chugs thrown in. So let's go ahead and... there we go. I'm going to back this guy up. Excuse me. A lot of dust. And there's the original one there for you. As you'll notice, my camera does not like to stay still. Let me go ahead and get him into robot mode for you guys, if the camera will stay still long enough. Come on. Alright, well, it won't. And, sorry, the Megatron Pez decided it wanted to be doing a cameo here. So let's see if I can do this without moving my microphone and camera too much. Alright. So first things first, we've already got that there. We're going to take this, we're going to raise this up. That'll allow me to bring down the legs. We're going to... I know I said I wasn't going to do the transformations, but since this is a test video, I just figured it'd be kind of fun. Especially because this toy is so old and decrepit at this point. First Transformer I ever got was a Sunstreaker toy. I got it for my 5th birthday. I only have the original crotch piece left, and I think a missile. And I don't know what state it's in. What I mean by state is I've moved a few times, and I have things stored at various people's houses. Let me see here. Go ahead, bring that cockpit piece back. This was probably not the best toy to get when I was 5, as I didn't have the motor skills exactly to play with it effectively, and it definitely got broke over the years. What I had wanted, when my mom asked me what Transformer, I said Bumblebee, and she said, which one's that one? And I said the red one, the yellow one. And she came home with Sunstreaker instead. The irony, of course, is I do have Bumblebee now. I have quite a few of them. But yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Generation 1 Sunstreaker, minus his arms and missile, because they're in storage, because I only have the car modes on display. And let's go ahead and get a look at Generations with him. The camera's at a weird angle, but we'll take a look. As you can see, I mean, there's a good size difference. The camera here makes it look different. They're standing right next to each other, and you can't really tell, but he is coming up to the shoulders. But let's go ahead and just take a look real quick. Gonna unsuction the base here. Maybe. Maybe not. Well, that was worth a try. So we'll just kind of float it. But as you can see, it's Sunstreaker. You've got the wonderful bat ears, the turbocharger on the back of the head to give him kind of that look. And of course, for real Transformer fans, we understand that Sunstreaker wasn't supposed to be Sunstreaker. He was supposed to be Sideswipe, and that was supposed to be his jetpack. But confusion in the production office led to the wrong one being named the wrong thing. And now we get Sideswipe, who has an invisible jetpack, versus Sunstreaker, who just looks badass. There are quite a few things that remain the same on it, of course. The legs are completely different, though. The legs from this Sunstreaker come from his backside of his car versus X-Form from the hood. And it's an interesting transformation technique. When I first got it, it kind of made me a little bit annoyed with the figure because it wasn't just a straight up update. It was more of a rechange. But as time got on, I appreciated it more and more, especially given that the transformation scheme is just that much more complex and it gives a little bit more functionality to it. I would have still loved to have seen a Sunstreaker that formed that way. Even the Combiner Wars focuses with the feet becoming the trunk of the car versus the hood of the car. And I apologize, I don't know Lamborghinis. I also don't know what you call the aft section. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hit pause, and then I'll show you a comparison of the vehicle modes. Be right back. Alright, so here we go. I've got them both in the vehicle modes now. This Sunstreaker, of course, as you can tell, is a little bit beat up, so the parts aren't exactly meshing together anymore. Tires are starting to break. I do need to get another one soon, but they're pretty fucking expensive. I do have this piece that fell off. It's in my storage. It's with all of his other parts. I need to get some glue and put it back together. But let's go ahead and take a look at the vehicle modes. The 1984 one, of course, is a very classic Lamborghini style, something that you would see in a lot of action movies, with the turbocharger, which I always just loved. I never really understood it as a kid, but now as an adult, I love it. I do keep the missiles in because I don't know, it just reminds me of like having like the 1960s Batman flame effect on his car. The car looks like a Lamborghini. It is sweet. It is sexy. Now this one's of course old and beat up, so it's not as sexy, but it still has that wonderful look to it. Very aerodynamic, very fast. The underside hides pretty much all of the robot bits. Now, of course, you can see the head if you look closely, but otherwise it hides the parts really well. And I will probably use some other Generation 1 toys just to show you some examples of how things have changed over the years. But a lot of them did really well with hiding the little robot parts. It was more the kibble when they're in robot mode. But it does look really nice. And sorry, it's falling apart on me. Like I said, I need a new one here. It still is really, really nice. And it does hook well. As far as a Lamborghini toy goes from the 80s, that's been beat up to shit. And here, of course, is the modern update. From what I understand, it is also a Lamborghini. It's much more stylish. It is much more sexy. It definitely has the Sunstreaker look. You do get the turbocharger on top there, which, you can see the nice little fan. It's not as close to the back, but it does still work. You still get it. You get a lovely spoiler. I like the spoiler more than what's on the original one. The original one looks more like a race car, whereas this looks like something that you would see some pretentious douche driving. As far as the underside goes, unlike the first one here, you can definitely see the robot mode parts. But it's not really discerning. It looks like if you flipped over a car, you would see some bits and pieces. You just don't have any of, piping. But it still looks good. And one of the things that works best about it is that it rolls beautifully. There's nothing, that was the Pez falling, by the way. There's nothing dragging on the end, so you can drive it around if you're a kid and you want to play with it. I'm more of a display person. Now, my original one here no longer rolls. Again, that's probably because it's falling apart. But yeah, so this was a fun little look at a test video here, just because I wanted to see if I could do this. I'm going to go ahead and push them back here. If you're wondering about anything here, what I'm using for a background is a Poison Ivy poster by Chrissy Zulu, who is an amazing artist if you want to check her out. My outer wall here, because I'm literally using up whatever space I can here, is the Mercs for the Money Deadpool pack, where it has the different mercs dressed up as Deadpool in the rainbow colors. And then on this side is Legends Nightbird. And eventually I will open her. I've had her for 2 years just hanging inside her box, but I figured I'd do something like this to get me motivated to open her up. So if I can get some likes and subscribers, I might do that. So yeah, again, this is a test video. I want to hear what works, what doesn't work, so what you guys would rather see. I do have quite a few things coming in the next few weeks that I'm excited to share with you guys. I'm getting my second Masterpiece toy, and I'll be doing a box opening on that one. I also want to do a retrospective about combiners since I have most of my combiners on display. But let me hear what you guys think, what figures you're looking for. I do have 2 GoBots that I would love to throw in there as well. So yeah, please leave a comment, subscribe, criticize. I want to hear it. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Mike, and we'll see you later.